Hey guys, so we're at the final stretch of got 24 more points to go to hit 2600. But as you know, if you use chess.com, the tactics trainer, it penalizes you a lot. So if you miss one thing, you'll lose like maybe 10, 15 points. Unless you get, partial, if you get it partially correct, you might get some points. Um, or you'd only lose minimum points anyway. But yeah, so let's try and make it to 2600 and I'll explain the ideas behind the moves. Ideally, I'm going for speed because if you get one really quickly, then you can get like maybe 8 points, 10 points, or something. So if it's easy, we could solve it quickly. I'll do that, but I'll always go back and explain the mechanisms because that's what this channel is all about. Really describing the ideas behind the moves, whether it's strategy, tactics, end games, whatever. So this is to get ready for the Washington Chess Congress, which I just signed up for this weekend. So gonna get I have to take some buys, but I'm gonna play I'm gonna be able to play 6 rounds, and I take 3 half-point buys because I'm busy tomorrow. So, but I gotta get ready. Gotta get that training in when I can. So let's do it. Okay. Okay. So black just played h2. White to move. Well, first thing we notice is it's hard to stop the pawn, but we have this king is kind of he might get in some trouble. Do we have to accept a draw here? I don't think so. I feel like there must be some way to get a checkmate. So go with your intuition in terms of what you're trying to achieve. But how? Well, even if he gets a queen, keep in mind they get a queen, and then they'd have to take the pawn. In the meantime, we might move the king even if we can orchestrate our pieces, king, bishop, and knight, to get the king in checkmate. So our default is to maximize, of course. Always maximize your pieces. That's what International Master Dimo Werner told me. It seems simple when I worked with him in Hungary once. Seems simple, but it's just those reminders are very helpful sometimes. So maximize your pieces, maximize your possibilities. Something you can apply on and off the chessboard. So we want to go for checkmate, obviously. If that doesn't work, we'll go for perpetual for a draw. So if we want to checkmate, I think we would need to probably prevent him from going to d8, create some kind of a mating net, like maybe knight in here. That's the candidate move. If we get our knight here controlling that, then we have bishop check. So let's say we go here, they get a queen. We have a bishop check, they move, but then what? Well, oh, that looks good. Well, we would have knight here, trying to do a, no, it's not a mate, is it? And, and as we know, the bishop and knight checkmate is a very hard one to achieve. But maybe we could do it. Maybe we can do it. The thing is, if they get a queen, we would have to shield it somehow. So we'd have to shield it this way, and we'd have to shield it this way, so they couldn't get to our king. Maybe our king will be here or here. So okay, we have two ways to go about this. One way is to stop the king from going to b8. The other one is so we lure him this way. The other one would be to lure him this way. So for instance, going knight to d7. That's our second candidate move I would look at. Knight d7 with the idea of bishop a6. So knight d7, queens, bishop a6 check, king to d8. Is there? I'm not seeing anything there. I think we can't have him run this way. If we're going to do this, we need to go knight e6, I think. So let's try and make that work. Stick with your idea. Queen. So you can't go here. Now, yeah, I would say take a look at it, see if you find anything. Because I don't think really achieving a draw would be that difficult. Because I mean, it's kind of in a fortress. You know, you can imagine the bishop guards the pawn guards the bishop, and the knight can be anchored in there. So I think it's got to be a win. Let's see. Knight here, and then bishop check, king here. Now, oh, I'm already down to 20%. All right, that means I need to do this fast. Well, I'll gain 1 point if I get it right, but I can't get this wrong. That's the thing. Now it's just about avoiding loss at this point, because maybe I get a few points if it's a really hard one. But check. King moves to b8. Now, what if we were to check? Okay, what about a more forcing line? We check first, of course. That's more forcing. But again, then they could run this way. What if you check this way? They also go here to d8. Ah, do we have bishop d7? But then they can move the pawn. Because if we can, we can threaten mate by going bishop d7 then. So for example, check, king d8, bishop d7 with the threat of knight mate. Yes, here, bishop d7. If they push, you have king here. And they still have to queen, then you have your mate. Okay, wait. I think we're onto something. So the key is we need to check. We can't do a waiting move first. We can't start with the knight move. It has to be a bishop move. So I'm thinking it's bishop e6. Let's try it. Let's test this out. So it seems like the response, we're looking at two branches of a tree, right? And calculation tree. So our initial branch is going to be bishop to the kind of the trunk of the tree. Or it will be one branch really. Will be bishop to e6 check. And then of course they have two branches, which will be king d8 and king b8. So if king d8, then we would branch off from there. Each candidate moves a branch, each option. So check here. And now it was bishop to d7, smothering the king, creating a suffocation scenario. And then let's say the pawn pushes to e5 or whatever, e5 or e6. We both moves, we would have king d6, smothering the king, and then he's stalemated, which means after the queen, whatever they do, we get checkmate on e6. Okay, that looks good. So the other line is check, king moves. Now I'm thinking we can get into like a typical bishop and knight checkmate. So again, and it's nice that we have that pawn potentially blocking us. Okay, from the queen when they queen. So bishop check, king moves. Now, would it be king b6 followed by knight? No. What about check, king moves, knight check? He comes here, but then what? There's no follow-up check. Does bishop a6 work if he goes to d8? Bishop a6, king d8. I don't think it can, because he's running to e8. Yeah, he's getting out of there. I have to try and make bishop e6 work. Bishop e6, king b8. What do we have there? What kind of... So the knight... wait, what about king... Oh yeah, so king b6 stops king a7. That might be important. So check, king b8, king b6. Now they queen, check, king goes here. Seems like he's almost slipping out. Just have to examine some possibilities here. This is tricky. That's why I like that initial knight sort of knight restriction, but it's not enough. So bishop e6. It's almost like we would want bishop. No, the bishop a6, even if you go to b7, he would still have king over to a7. I think we would need that king b6, it seems. Bishop e6 check, king b8. If knight check, king a7. You can set up more checks with knight to b6. But then he runs to a6. Check, he goes to a5. Can we sort of lasso the king back to the corner? Check, king b8. King b6. Queens. Knight d7 check. King a8. Well, that might work. If that would work, then we would have bishop d5 mate, right? So the only question remains then, the one gap is if he comes back to c8. So we got bishop e6 check, king there. If king b6, the idea is check. If he goes in the corner, then bishop d5 is mate. And again, that helpful pawn blocking the queen. So we get to do what we want there. So again, check, king b8, knight check, no, king b6, queens, knight check, king c8. We have a discovered check now. But where? Examine the possibilities. Do we have to settle for just a perpetual? Some kind of perpetual? But I'm pretty sure the first move we may just, if we can, I'd like to have the whole line, but I'm pretty sure we could begin with bishop e6. This one's a tricky one. A lot of very, Just a few pieces is always the hardest. Requires a lot of precision. So many possibilities. So bishop e6. I think by process elimination. What else is there? Because any knight move doesn't really lead to any. Now again, the knight e6 idea was my first idea. So the idea was bishop a6 check. Oh, what am I thinking? Isn't that it? Wait, maybe it does work. Knight e6 queens. Bishop check. King here. No, the problem was that he's already queening. So king b6 allows that he starts checking from behind. That's the problem. King b6 is too slow. That's why I liked the check first. But let's look at it again. Check here. Queens. Check here. No, there's not even any checks. That's the problem. Yeah, that just can't work. So bishop e6 check, king b8. I feel like we can, sometimes you can let him go a little bit and kind of lasso one back in. So I feel like as long as we have him in this vicinity, we're good. That's the beginning. Check. And again, we say the bishop d7 idea. You know, I feel like it's just going to go to go to d8 and give us that. Let's because the harder line is played. I mean, I don't want to cop out on it, but I feel like we can start with this. Oh no. It's a 28.90. That's what they give it anyway. Target time is a minute 17, 47%, 47.8%. Pass it out 3,000 attempts. I took 10 minutes exactly. Endgame tactics. Let's try again. Fork double attack. Fork double attack. I don't want to fork. I want to get a checkmate. So it's not a checkmate? Oh, is this like a way to just win the pawn or something? Maybe we just, if we can, is there a way to stop the pawn? Maybe I missed it. Hold on. Let's try again. I won't take too long this time because we already lost the point. Or can you? I mean, I don't know what that's based on, but especially if it's, well, it must have been solved by players that had, because it had a relatively high passage rate, but it must have been done by players with like 2,800 on tactics. So probably by like some very strong FMs, IMs, GMs, or just any player that's really, really good at tactics. But okay, hold on. So it's not check. Is it something? I don't know. What is it? Is it okay? Is it the 96 idea? What kind of double attack are we talking about? Is it a double attack to threaten mate and threaten the pawn or something? I don't know. Somehow does this pawn benefit us by pushing? Because I was thinking, okay, well, if that helps us get a mating net, this pawn would seem redundant in that sense. So you have to ask yourselves these questions. Well, we're seeking maximum utility of every single one of, including our king, every single piece we have. I would like to checkmate. Then we have to alter our goals sometimes. Are we seeking checkmate? Are we seeking stalemate? Are we seeking perpetual check? But did it say drawing tactics? I don't think it did. Okay, wait, let's go back to that. I don't know, this one's tricky. Check. Yeah, not starting off as well as yesterday. Yesterday, or last time, 2 days ago, I had a run. Undefeated. This time, not starting so well, but that's okay. We're getting warmed up. You can't give up on any of them. What would it be? I'm almost stumped on this one. Okay, well, my only other move that I was looking at was knight here. Does that do anything? I don't think so. Because again, the check, king moves. There's no follow-up check. How about knight to d7? And then, is that sort of similar to if we can pull him over this way? Knight d7, queens, bishop a6 check, king to d8. I don't know. What am I missing here? Is it something about the knight going here and attacking the pawn? King just moves. It's not check here. If knight here, do we have any kind of, if we're going for perpetual, but I just don't get what it said about a fork. That just seems ridiculous. Something feels off about this one. Here, check. So let's start with okay, the check didn't work though. The bishop a6 check. Now that allows some checks though. That does allow some direct checks. Bishop a6 check. king here. Now we can't stop him from going to e8. I would like to, like, I'd like to catch him, but he starts running. That's the problem. That's not what I want. Knight check, king goes here. And you're not going to fork this pawn. I don't see you stopping that. Check here, check here. Check. He moves again. Do we have anything over here? Can't be. Check here. Check if he runs here. You can check him here. No, he just comes up. There's nothing. I don't know. Let's see. Is it this one? It is that one. Okay, but now what? A fork? I just don't. That just seems off. The fork idea that I mentioned just seems off. Seems like the wrong motif. But okay, I mean, what else do we have other than check? He's just running here. What is there? I mean, I could imagine. I mean, even stalemate would be very hard for us to achieve, because when they queen, yeah, the king has too many squares. There can't be a stalemate. Only thing I can imagine is either some sort of checkmate or a perpetual. But if we check here, then it forces them this way. That's something. Oh. Well, then he only has this square. It just seems like it's not there, but is it? Check, king here. Oh, that gives us time to run this way. That's the trick, maybe. Because if you run this way, threatening a mate, it allows you to go to f3. Oh, of course. So when you check, you force him here. That's deep, though. That's a deep one. So it's sort of, the thing is you're sort of, yeah, that's it. That's it. It's the threat of checkmate, simultaneously the threat of stopping the passed pawn. So it didn't, yeah, it just there wasn't enough with the pure checkmate, but it's the checkmate threat combined with now this brilliant move, brilliant idea that they have here. Beautiful, beautiful. Wow, I just didn't see that. So the idea is you're probably giving up your knight. No, are you? Are you giving up their king out? Well, you could easily stop it. You'd be up a piece. You'd be up a piece, and then you can use your piece in the pawn to win their pawn. But this is cool. So you have the you have the decoy. You check it, threatening the mate again because the king is smothered. He's in a mating net. These are covered. That's covered. A little trick in knight moves. Wow. This one just combines so many themes. No wonder why they rate it so highly. And then they don't have you go on from there. But yeah, 2890. Wow, I've never seen one that high. Now it'll probably give me like a 2300 or something. I think they should add more tags though. So what should we suggest? It's almost like defense in a way. There is some defensive theme but it's a decoy. There was some decoying the queen and then forking. I don't know. I think it was decoy and it was defense in the broader sense of you need to do something about them getting a queen, and then it was sort of simplification. But okay, let's go on. Hopefully we'll do better on the next one. That was a good exercise. That was really interesting. Let me make sure we're good on the dashboard. Is it okay, it's live, and all right, we got one person joining us. Hey there. Let's see. So back to this again. Let's see if we do better on the second one. Okay, we're at 2569 with 10% left. Oh no, okay, I guess I can run over there, but I have to mix things up. Okay, I have to plug into the other port. Okay, E5. Okay. Well, clearly we want to do something with these two very strong pawns, but if we move the rook, he takes this, it seems. Can't move our king up, so our options are limited. So in a sense, it's not that it can't be too hard because we only have so many options. Because we can't move our king up, we have to be careful about moving our rook too much without losing this, or we'd have to consider what would happen then. But for instance, if we took the pawn, they take our pawn. You can check; they just come up. And they've got two strong pawns there, but they're not so far advanced. That's the problem. Is this rook responsible for sitting here, though? I think that's important. If the rook is responsible for sitting here to protect this, because I think if the rook moves somewhere, then we can snatch this pawn, and then we're coming down with our pawns. We have the check. We have a mate threat. Even if they run, we have the pawns are coming. So I think, can we just start running our king this way? And then if he goes away, then we start coming this way. And if he comes, well, my only concern is that he starts pushing the pawns. But maybe it's like a just-in-time kind of thing. Well, let's say we come here, they go here, we go here, they get here. Huh. Yeah, that pawn does run fast though. And we have 3 pawns against 3 pawns. If we take a pawn, they take a pawn. That's not so promising. There's an outside pass pawn though, but it's not. I feel like there's got to be something more. Of course, there's a check. Of course. I just dimmed on me. I don't know if it dimmed on you, but okay, we have a check. I feel like there's something to the check. Well, check. I don't think he wants to go in the corner. Let's say he goes here, for instance. Well, then we can check again. He goes back, then we can push, and then we can check in the corner. That seems pretty good. But what if he goes back in here? Well, if he goes in the corner, I feel like we might have like some winning. It might simplify, liquidate to a winning king and pawn ending or something. Wow, this is tricky too. Check, king in the corner. Now if we take, he takes, we can push with check. Comes back. I'm not feeling anything there. How about some way to win this pawn? There's something on the king though. There must be something on the king. I like the idea of the checks if we move it, but it's so obnoxious when that rook takes. We no longer have a mate threatening a mate. So we want to deflect the rook somehow. What about this is like just a straightforward idea of bringing the king. I kind of like the idea because he's sort of the only thing he can do is push these pawns. I want to push this pawn somehow too. Okay, let's just say we start coming over here. They push. Let's look at this again. They push. Continue. Let's say they push the other pawn. What do we achieve there? The interesting thing about going here is that if they take it, we take back and guard the pawn. But then the king just comes up. That doesn't look decisive to me. Is there any trick with the rook being on a6 if he takes on a6? That rook. And the king is just... The rook is so active. Our king is restricted. It's a frustrating scenario. But we need to... That frustration should lead us to seek something. Our intuition should tell us we need to get around that somehow. It's either some exchange of pawns or making it just forcing and saying, hey, look, I'm not going to believe that my king cannot be activated. That's why I really want to activate him anyway, because again, the rook has to sit here, king has to sit here. So he's in this sort of almost zugzwang as long as these pawns don't have anything to do. But they do. They start pushing forward. That's the issue. If we check once, again, he goes in the corner. I think going in the corner is the only plausible move. That is something, though. No, I mean, trading down pawns is just, if he gets these ones, we get these ones, pawn versus pawn. That's too ambiguous, I think. I can't see that winning. I mean, I'll keep it in mind, but what is it? Any ideas out there? Gotta find this. Any other motifs? I mean, you could push this pawn, but that doesn't seem to do it. I feel like the crux is in these 2 pawns, because we know these pawns are great. This is the only thing we're worried about. If we can handle these pawns, either that, or if we can handle the rook, they can move and have an effective rook swing, then we can make it work. But those ingredients, those are the ingredients. But what do we do? Oh, I got to plug it in a minute. Let's see. It's giving some very difficult endgame, which is good. These are really good. I mean, so just the process of thinking through these is very good. Because I'm not calibrated right now for these, but gotta work through them. This should be difficult. What if we just keep running? Let's just try this again. So we go here, they push. We go here, let's say they push again. Oh, maybe we just keep on waiting. If they are in a near Zugzwang scenario, we just wait with the king. Do we push the pawn? I think it is just a waiting sort of thing, where we just wait, and then, because again, if the king moves, we have check, and then we get to push. So we can't move. So we don't need to check. We just wait. We wait, because the king is basically in Zugzwang. The rook is sort of in Zugzwang too, because if it moves, the king advances. So again, the only moves are the pawns. I think that's the crux of it. No, gotta plug in. Gotta plug in. So here, connect. Okay, we're reconnected. Let's see, OBS. Let's just make sure get that. Let's just get that video capture working again. Deactivate, activate. Okay, sorry about that. So we're good, I think. And yeah, so it looks like we need that. It's a Zugzwang. It's got to be a Zugzwang because again, the king can't move. If the king moves, we check, and then we run with the pawn. So for instance, king moves, we check, king goes back, we get check. That looks very good. Is it even more forcing if we checked first? I don't think it would make a difference because imagine if you check and he goes here, and then you have to check. You can't push because you would take it. You would have to check in anyway. So I think it's the same idea. But you wait for him to go here because you can't move. You could check, but again, he goes back to A8. I don't think that achieves anything, really. I think we want him on C8 because we want to be able to use our B pawn to anchor the rook on C7. And then if he goes away, well, then we push again. That looks bad. And then we can take or move here if the pawn moves, and then we check from behind. The king is separated too much from the pawn and with queen, like a skewer almost, to get behind it. Or we can push, win the rook, and skewer, or just either way. So I think it's got to be, look, and the rook has no moves. Let me make sure we're good. Are we back again? Stream resumed. Okay, I think it connected it as one thing. So yeah, I think we're close. It's just the question is, what do we do? Do we move the king over? Do we move the pawn up? Now the thing about moving the king, well, he's got to run out of moves with all of his pawns, really. So he's going to move this pawn. Yeah, I mean, eventually it's got to be a king move, but do we start with the pawn or the king? I feel like it's going to be the king, like king f2. Let's say they check. Do we just leave the pawn hanging, king e3, let them take it? Because if you let them out there, if they ignore this pawn, you just run. You just run over somewhere, and then you're threatening mate. If the king moves, you push the pawn, you're going to get a queen. You push, and then, does that work? Yeah, once you push once, if the rook goes back, you can push again with a check, and then both pawns are coming. Yeah, they support each other. The two brother pawns marching together. Two brother pawns here, two brother pawns here. They always work well as a team. So the question is just now that we if that's the idea, assuming that's correct, the sort of waiting it out and allowing them to just run out of moves until they get Zugzwanged, get that Zugzwang, the push-pull, from German to get them in trouble, where they have no good moves, they're forced to make a bad move. But I think I like king f2, but is h3 better? Is h4 better? Because if that's the right move and I make king f2, I'll be very frustrated with myself. So why would it be? Well, I just think that this has the direct, because this was my initial purpose. I want my king here. I want to make and then I could start, he goes back, we actually get forward with a tempo. And then we get to b5, and then we can move. And if they check, Well, then that would allow us to come in. Then they'd have to come back. Yeah, that would buy us time. That would buy us time, I think, to be able to play a7, which is what we want. So I think it's going to be king f2. That's just the most direct. h4 is like, what are you doing? You know? Okay, I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it. Hold my breath. Ah, minus 10, 20. It was a lower rated one too. 47% pass it. What am I missing? What did I miss? There is, it's a Zwischenzug. Pawn promotion, remove the defender. What's the defender? Like remove the defender from this pawn? Ah, now I gotta make up ground. Let's see. Wasn't the best start, but it's okay. Sometimes I have tournaments like that, but then I get angry and I fight back hard. You know, you could respond in two ways. You can give up or you could fight harder. Figure out what you did wrong and fight hard. But what is this? So endgame tactics, pawn promotion, remove the defender's Zwischenzug, like an in-between move. What else could it be? I mean, is it one of these pawn moves here? But again, do we start with a check? Was it the check first? Okay, we did start with a check. And now remove the defender. Which defender? Was it here? Then he just takes. Oh, maybe that's even more of a forced sort of Zugzwang scenario. Because again, his rook can't move because he lets our king up. I think it's a similar idea. Well, what if we did king f2 now? If we take, but now this is, see, if we go back again, we're just back where we started. So there must be something. How do we progress? How do we progress? Do we take now? I mean, we're threatening mate, but again, he takes a6. I just don't see it. If we go, is there any trick with a push? If we go here, takes, check, king over. I don't know. If you take, you could take, push, king here. Oh, and then do we have like a winning scenario where we have the outside pass pawn and we can stop these two? Maybe it's just take, huh? Yeah. And then we push. No. Oh, of course. That was the thing I just didn't even think about. Let's see. Can you think of what it was? So you don't push. You want to liquidate to a winning scenario. So what you do, I think, because this is running too fast, if the king could blockade these, this guy's too far away. So you just check, I think, and you trade rooks. That's nice. But it's about boiling it down, figuring out what matters in that position, and then you push. So going back to the beginning again, so they have these two pawns here. So it comes down to the fact that the king could stop these two. It wasn't a Zugzwang though. I was hoping for a Zugzwang, but maybe I was outthinking myself there. Check. I was trying to make something work that just wasn't even necessary. So check. That's the most forcing option, of course. And again, if he goes to c8, then we get the check and push. So you force him to a8, and then you get to push with check, so it's all sort of forced. But the key is you do want to remove this pawn. And then it's like, well, you have a pawn on the set. Oh, not that one, sorry. You check. I wanted to do that. No, you simplify then, and it wins. Okay, let's keep fighting. Next one. Let's try and get one right. Ooh, okay, back into the 2550s. Let's try not to fall behind that. Okay. Queen to g7. What do they have? How many pieces do they have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. So they have a bunch of extra pieces. They're up a knight and they're up 2 knights. So do we have any mating thing here, or is it? We have a lot of pressure on the lines. The F file, the H file, the queen's aiming in. But what? And they don't really have anything on us other than the check. Can this queen get trapped almost? Well, the queen has queen d4. That's guarded for now by the knight. They're not really threatening anything, though, other than taking our rook. Oh, we have a check, takes, check, takes, check. Okay, that one's forced. Yeah, I think they gave me an easy one because they're like, okay, we gave you some really hard endgames. Let's give you a break. So, yeah, that seems forcing. So you take, they take back. Let's try and solve it fast if it's right. Just double check. Yeah, I'm going to do it quick and then we'll go over it. Check. So we get sort of deflection. Remove the defender from this. Yeah, remove the defender from the rook, and check, and then it's a mate, right? Yep. Okay, hopefully get some points back. We got not that many. Okay, we got 7. We got a little bit of a recovery. Let's go over that real quick. So we had, so it looks kind of bad for us. Well, we just went here. So we had, I guess it was, I don't know if it was a premeditated sacrifice or what happened, but something, you're down 2 pieces. But I mean, because you think if the queen were here, then maybe they could have just taken a rook and gotten 2 pieces for the queen and had a bunch of pieces for the queen, because they're already up 2 knights. But anyway, they made a mistake by trying to hold on to the queen. And then what we do is we take 1 rook, so we leave the other one undefended, or only defended by the king. So we have 1 attack and 1 defender. And then we take here, deflecting the king from the rook, removing the defender essentially. But that allows us to come in and check again. We've already got him in a mating net with the bishop here covering, goes back, and the bishop comes in and finishes the job. We got that kind of like the 2 bishop mate. We have 2 diagonals under control, and the queen also covers the second rank. So that's a nice finish. Elegant, but simple and elegant in a way. You see that, yeah, this happens a lot with tactics where you can even sack a pawn there or something, just to expose them there. And you got your capture check, another capture check, a third capture check. So this is bare bones tactics. So this one can't be super high rated. This is it's a 22. So they give me a bone. They threw me a bone because I had a little bit of a run here. I had 4 in a row, then I lost 1, got 1, lost 2 in a row. Okay, let's try and keep it going. 50% got that one right. Okay. White to play. King's very exposed. We want to get a back rank mate, but how? This is obstructing us. If we check, they take. It's all in the way. Do they have anything on us? Not at the moment. There's no check because this is covered. Can we swing in some other way? What if we just do something simple like rook c1? Because knight can't take, since that's no, it's not a mate. It's almost a mate, but then we give this one up. Okay, rook c. Well, no need to hang it. Just go rook c2. But we're not threatening to come down yet. How about bishop a4? But then he has f5. See, the bishop. If he plays f5, the bishop actually covers. If you go bishop a4, I mean, it's kind of hard for them to stop everything. So here we have 2 rooks for a queen, and now you see the superiority of the 2 rooks. If bishop a4 hitting this, we have rook e8. Well, that's the threat, is the mate, because this. But they can't really obstruct anyway. The only thing that's obstructing is the knight, so we work our way around it. But we have the e-file ready. Oh, and they can take, but it doesn't matter because we just mate with the other one. So so what I'm saying is, the knight takes the rook. This one comes down. That's it. No, I'm sorry, it's not a mate. But is it close to a mate? It's almost a mate. Check. King goes up. Check. King would go here. That's not a mate. What is it then? The bishop can't come in to cut this off. The bishop, if he checks here, the king comes out. That doesn't seem like it works. You want to catch him in there when you have him. Can the queen be subjected to anything? If we can sort of attack on here, we could take f7, but I don't see a way to set that up. What if we just take it? That looks kind of crazy, but what if we just took it? No, then they would check. It doesn't work. I don't think that can work. No, and then they check again. Take with check, and then they can shore up the resources, I think. Bishop a3, no, it doesn't work. Rook down. Is there like a rook sack? Rook check, then bishop check? Is that too crazy to work? Rook check takes, bishop check. No, we need to get in there. I feel like somehow it is getting down. Like if you went rook c2 and you let him take, I feel like somehow we are gonna. No, not there, but how to make this work? Can we do something with the queen though? The bishops are really nicely placed, but I don't know if you went bishop to. No, if you went there, the knight would just take it. You take, knight takes check, and then they get this one. That couldn't work. They just pick up everything. How do we catch that king? I like to take my time on these ones. I'm trying to move fast now though to gain some points, but I do like to take my time generally. Bishop check, king up. No, that can't work. We need to stay on the diagonal. The only thing, oh, also he's threatening to take with the knight. There's just so much going on. Okay, let's look at this again. Rook takes knight. What if we just get rid of that annoying knight? They check. It can't work because you go back. Now the queen could take with check. I mean, everything's falling. That doesn't work. The knight's threatening this. So any attack on the queen, again, the knight will take back with check if you try and take the queen and then take everything. Could it possibly be bishop a3? That's the only force. It's the most forcing. Either that or rook down. Bishop a3 check. King g7. Yeah, there's nothing there. No, that couldn't work. If you move the rook, I mean, they'll just take this. If they get rid of this bishop, there's no hope. Because it seems like you want to cover this on g7. If the bishop were to move, so we don't get it taken, that just seems too quiet. So we want to start at the top of the hierarchy of forced move: capture, checks, captures, and then threats, and then quiet moves. So moving the bishop would sort of be a quiet move. I mean, it might work if nothing else moves, but if nothing else works, sorry, but bishop where? Let's say, for instance, the bishop goes back. Now, I think even then, though, you're just to experiment with it. If the knight were to take, if you get that check and king goes up, yeah, there's nothing there. The only thing that I can foresee as being a little bit forcing is the idea of getting down to e8. So again, well, right away doesn't work. No, that can't work. Check, takes, bishop check. But I think this idea of bishop a4 is enticing. So bishop a4. What if the queen just goes all the way back to a8? Then we would be able to do check, drive. No, then the king comes up. Bishop a4, queen a8. That's an interesting defense. Oh, then we'll just be up the exchange. You just check, queen takes, bishop takes, takes. You're up the exchange. That should be something, yeah. At least I think you can consider that about winning. It's 3 pawns for 3 pawns, extra exchange. Should be good enough. Bishop a4, I want the mate. I'm threatening mate. It's pretty direct. You don't have many ways to stop it. So the only thing you can do, really, is take this, which allows the other rook to come down. So we have this sort of clearance. So bishop a4, knight takes e1. Let's try to make this work. Check, king up, check, forcing king here. Well, that's good. That's good. Because we have here, this bishop is cutting him off here. Now we can do bishop a3 check. So the rook is on e8, right? No, it's on, oh, is this one? Yeah, it went to e8. Yeah. Takes, bishop a4, takes, check, king up, check, can't go there because the bishop, it has to go here. And we had to check here because it was hanging. So when he goes here, then bishop a3 check. Now we're covering both of these lines, this swath across here, these 2 swaths. So we're at check, bishop a3 check. Where's he go? I feel like we could walk him down with the bishops now, just like one by one by one. That looks pretty interesting. So bishop a4, knight takes, check, king up, check, king here, bishop a3 check. Now he's 2 yellow lines in the road. You can't cross that. Where's he go? He has to go here, right? Then we check again. Or wait, do we have anything else? Check again. He could block. Check here, check here. If you check here, he comes here. He gets out of there, I think. Check. It looks promising though. So rook check. It would be great if we can get one of the rooks to e8, but it's just I don't see that happening. If you double up, he just takes this one. So bishop a4, knight takes, check, up, check, here. Let's be very precise about this. Bishop a3 checks. We have both bishops looking here, rooks covering here. So bishop a3 check, king here. Now I didn't like bishop back again. No, that lets him come here anyway. What about now? What about going here? Because now if he goes here, we have like maybe bishop check. That looks very promising. That's the only thing I'm seeing so far. We might want to walk down that path because I don't see any other way to get him, and then we can just keep pulling him in. It looks like a king hunt. It looks like a good king hunt. And after bishop a4, I mean, again, you're threatening down here. The only other way is queen back. We win the queen, and we're up the exchange at the end of that line. It's important to know what's the current material, because if it's not checkmate, we might win decisive material, which could be considered winning. It's just a technical task, as they say. And there's just no way to cover this line. Yeah, bishop e5 gets taken. Knight can't cover anything else. Only can take this. Otherwise, I'm coming down. If you take, check, up, bishop a3. Oh! I made a mistake. Yeah, nope. Bishop a3 doesn't work because the queen covers. My bad. That's important. So after knight takes, check here, bishop a3 doesn't work. What else? Again, we could go here. We could check him from here immediately. Is there anything, like, we could do process of elimination here, because I mean, is there any other way other than bishop a4? Then at least we could start with that. It'd be nice to have the whole line again, but at least we could start with bishop a4 if there's nothing else. Now, what if he just goes f5? Bishop a4, f5. See, we have to consider if he has just a simple defense like that, because we can check, he can come up, because that bishop was kind of needed there. If you check him, he goes up. What is there? I feel like we might be sort of running out of steam. So maybe that whole idea doesn't work. I feel like that's why I feel like we need something faster. But it just, bishop a3 check, what's going to happen there? After king g7, what do you get? Well, it's kind of interesting actually. You could go bishop a3 check, king g7, and then you can go rook down, because again, we're trying to win. If we can give up a bishop and a rook for the queen, we can be up the exchange. Now we're getting this pawn too. So bishop a3 check. Maybe it was seeing if we go down some decoy, like some decoy line that doesn't work, to throw us off. But maybe it's just as simple as check. This is very forcing. If he goes here, then we can check, gain that tempo to get in, and then we can still go here. But he just can't cover. The nice thing is that this deals with the threat. It's almost like a defense, because he's threatening this, the computer is, or whoever's game this was. So you get the bishop out of the way, you get the rook out of the way, and you're putting a threat, and your rook still covers this. Yeah, I'm liking bishop a3. So bishop a4, no, this is clear defense. This is the only forcing line. Good. Said moving. Okay, that means it's correct. Now we just need to deal with this one. And I have a feeling it's simply rook e7, because again, this covers. There's no real threat, and we just need to catch him quick. And we dealt with it. So rather than leaving it hanging earlier, as it was earlier in that one line, there were just too many kinks in that line. But this one, I think we're just going to get, because I wanted to attack f7, this is the way to do it. And then we get closer to mate, actually, once we could take here. And then we can maybe reroute the bishop somehow. But it's looking good. I think that's probably enough. Cool. And it still gave me 70%. I thought for a while, though, 13 minutes, I didn't think it would give me that much. Okay, I'll take it. So we're back in the 70s. Okay, we can get, I have to get my laundry. Got to get ready for that tournament, get some fresh clothes. But if I can solve this one quickly, that would be good. Hopefully, let's get this. Now, I mean, the obvious idea is just bring the rook bishop down and mate. It can't be that easy, can it? I mean, I don't see what else to do. Maybe it's just like one of those ones to see how quickly you get it. What else can it be? Oh, because he can obstruct the line easily with the queen or whatever, with the bishop. Even sack the bishop if he needs to. That can't work. But the bishop up, I mean, how do you stop this? Oh, you could go rook e3, obviously. Or we got 3 here. Tripled ups, that's dangerous. Is there anything else? Anything with this rook being out there? Okay, bishop in. He has to go here. We have 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. Well, we'd win a pawn. I mean, something. Because bishop here, he pretty much has to go here. Bishop back can't work because the check. Bishop covers, take with mate. So he has to go here. Is there any way we can maneuver the queen to get there? Always ask yourself these types of questions. Try to make it work. Bishop here. He's just stuck. So rook e3 seems to be the only move. I don't think anything with b5 does anything, does it? Is the rook trapped? Because see, that's not that much to get, right? Bishop here, it takes, check. Okay, huh. But then we might have some stuff where we make the rook, we hit him with bishop a6, so we actually gain that tempo, which would be really nice. So here, what if he goes down? Well, then we'd have the check, up, check, and we'd get the exchange. That's interesting. So b5 is problematic for him because he sort of just doesn't have that many options. Well, okay, this is the most obvious. Rook at d4. You got to refute that. Rook to d4. c5, he just retreats, right? Yeah, I don't know about that. Rook d4. I think that might be the one that doesn't work. Still insist on it. Try to make it work. Wait a second. Is the queen almost trapped? g5? Sort of. That's interesting. Well, g5 is limited. Now, what if you made the rook go here first? Because he can't go here. She can't go here. She can go here again. That's safe. That nice d4 square. But if we know that's the only square the rook can go to, and if we know the queen could be trapped, maybe we can combine the trapping of the rook and the queen. So we go b5. Again, I don't think there's much else. What about rook a5? Seems a bit awkward for the rook. That might not be so bad, though. Rook a5. Yeah, rook a5. What do you do with that? Now again, let's look at g5. g5. The queen is just limited. She can go to d4. And she can go to d4. That's why I was thinking if the rook's on d4, then after g5, then she can only go to d2. But even then, it's not so bad. Oh, do you have then something like rook here? Is that the precursor maybe? Start with rook here hitting the bishop, just a loose bishop. There's a queen check though. But if you were to go here, but what's the follow-up? I don't know. I mean, if he goes here at b5, if he goes here, the rook is loose there. Then there's a queen d8 hitting the rook, and then something with coming down here if the bishop were to move. So I just feel like there's some combination of ideas here on all the loose. There's sort of every piece is sort of precariously placed. The king is precariously placed in that some combo of the bishop coming in and rook coming in or queen coming in. Everything. This guy doesn't have that many moves either. Yeah, everything is a bit restricted, kind of tripping over each other. But how to exploit it? b5. Rook b4. We go c5. Yeah, but if rook b4 also, you know, it's not like great because you just go here, the rook just goes back, right? I think so. Yeah, I just don't think maybe b5 is not really where it's at. Now let's go back again to. But the good thing about the rook is that it doesn't. You can't get to the back rank. I think that's the key thing. So after bishop a, let's go back to bishop h3, our original move. Rook e3. Now can we make g5 work? Oh, there's also interesting ideas where if you take it, if the queen were to take, you'd have like a queen move unleashing the rook on the queen. Could be something. Especially if the rook were on a, if they were on a5, then that's where queen d8 might work. So I'm trying to combine all these ideas, but maybe it's not that. Maybe we don't need to do that much. Bishop here. So again, after bishop here, the move would be rook e3. If we drive the queen away first. Oh, that g5 move might help us with that. Something with a check, pulling the king out. Check up. Could it be something basic like check up and then try to go like queen d7 to get in here and mate? Then he has g4, right? If only we can get behind, but the bishop's in the way. There's just so many ideas how to make them work. You got to find that efficiency. Can't give up on it though. There's got to be a way. We're close. So let's stick to something here. Check up. Let's look at this sack again. Check takes. Check, just bishop blocks. G5. Queen maybe d4, pins the rook. Yeah, it just pins it. Oh, but if they go to, then you have c5 and b5 possibly. It's, yeah, the only two moves after g5 are queen d2 and queen d4. That's very important. Oh, and here, but then we can hit him with c5 maybe. But see, that's the thing. If you go b5, if the rook's on b4, then if you go g5, queen d4, then you have c5 forking the queen and the rook. So there's something there. There's something with b5 and g5, I think. Oh, it's like that combined with the bishop h3, combined with rook e1. There's like 4 key ideas here that I see. Combined with some queen moves maybe. Let's look at this again. b5, trying to just, so I'm shifting, but I'm just trying to find something that works. b5, rook b4, g5. Let's just see if there is anything to queen d2. Do we have anything there? Rook down. I mean, then they have a check. They gain time on that check on d4 if the rook were to move. So that doesn't work. But the idea of queen d7 combining the mate, that takes away queen d2. Oh, now we're getting warmer, I think. But they still have here. But by going c5, does that threaten b5? Taking away rook here and here. But no, he has rook a3. So maybe we do want b5 first, and then c5, and then queen d7, and then g5 or something. Okay, wait. Let's look at this again. b5. We got to. This is really a puzzle. If what I'm looking at is any lead. b5, rook b4, c5. Not rook takes because I think bishop a6 is winning. No, check, and then bishop a6, and then rook moves, and then you got that check down there in the mate. Okay, I just feel like it's b5. Well, where's the rook go? Can't go here because you got 3 on it, only 2 defenders. If you go here, we have that c5 again, and then I like the queen here first though, because b5 they can't meet it with rook a3. takes away a lot of options. B5, they do have this move though, but again, there's certain lines where you hit the rook with like queen d8, and then where does he go? Rook a7. Oh, but then if g5 here, pinning the rook, that's annoying, and hitting the queen. Let's see. This one's really tricky. Is it super simple? Is it? Can it just be bishop here? Again, but bishop here, he just goes rook e3. I mean, yeah, it's winning a pawn, but I just think it's not. I think it's more than that. Can we combine ideas though? Bishop here, rook here, b5 then, or g5 then. But then they just trade. Queen takes, rook takes, rook takes. But then they can go rook e4. Unless we've already driven the rook away from the fourth rank, which is why b5 might be an effective decoy. I just feel like b5 and g5 work for certain reasons to drive the pieces away. So it may not be that if it's on a5, it may be that it's just away from the defense. So b5, rook a5, g5 first, maybe. There's also ideas of if the king, if you check takes, there's a g4 check idea too. Forking these two, pulling the king in. Oh, there might be something there. But any check is met by a block. Is it b5? Could it be b5? b5, g5. But I think it would be this first. Now, if he goes here, but the idea behind this was to cover d2. And if queen there, then we'd have a check and a mate. So this is serious. This is a serious move to consider. Queen d7. There is a check, but I don't think that helps after king g8. So queen d7 threatens the check and the mate. What does he do about that? g4? Then you lost your chance for bishop h3 if g4. So queen d7, that might rule it out. Queen d7 might rule out, or g4 might rule out queen d7. And now the queen could tuck on g3 as well, so she's got more options. Yeah, I think queen d7, g4 is the answer to that. Yeah, it can't be queen d7. Okay, we've ruled that out. So I think it's either g5, b5, or bishop down or rook down. So maybe it's bishop down combined with something else. So this is very forcing, obviously, a threatening mate. So it's a deadly threat. Bishop h3. Again, rook e3. Now, if only we can get our queen to d5. But there's enough defenders. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 defenders. Or if the bishop goes here, we'd have 3 defenders and only 3 attackers. So they would be able to go here and cover that diagonal. Oh, but if the bishop were to go up, then we could come down with our queen. So is it as simple as bishop down, rook over, and then queen move somewhere? Yeah, potentially. Let's say the queen moves here, and then they have queen here. Again, stopping that rook, pinning it. That's why I just like b5, because I think b5 just disrupts things. So again, I think it's not the mate threat. It's not the mate threat. I think it's something with b5 and g5. But it's not decisive yet, so I don't want to rush into it. But b5, you have to confirm, I think, first. Otherwise, you lose the whole thing. So b5. Rook d4, let's say.
G5. Queen to D2. Not here because of the check. Can't go anywhere else. So if rook D4, then you see you wait for G5 after the rook's moved. And I don't think there's any harm to B5. I really don't think there's any harm to it, other than you're weakening C6 theoretically. But in terms of the that's not what this is about here. In terms of just you're attacking the rook, and you're just saying I'm going to win you if you don't move. So and there's no threat that they have at the moment. So B5. Again, they have very few options with that rook. And if they may allow C5 and then get into some hot water. So so B5, rook here, because C5, well, that would strengthen G5. So B5, rook B4, G5, not allowing queen here because of the fork now. So the queen would have to go to D2, okay? Now what? Yeah, but I just feel like that's the only one that makes progress. That's what we're left with, really. It's nothing so clear because he has a lot of options, but this is the only one that makes progress. Now, if G5 right away, well, then they would have queen D4. Well, then we'd have C5 and then B5 as well if we wanted to. But if queen D2 immediately, yes, he has to think of queen D2, well, then that would allow this. It's a tough call. Is G5 or B5 stronger? Which one limits them more? Oh, also you have to watch out for B5 rook here. Takes, queen takes, check. Is that a perpetual? King up? No, I don't think so. Maybe king back, but no, not if the king goes to H3. It's a little messy though. That would be a justification for G5 first. Queen D2. Yeah, I mean, those moves seem a little far-fetched, but you'd think it's something more direct. I mean, this queen takes, and but now you're not threatening mate anymore, and you're threatening this. Let's say they go C4. It's a pawn. It's a pawn. But I feel like this might be more. B5 might be more than that. But still, what's the concrete line? B5, rook, A5. All right, but the point was that we didn't want the rook to go back. I'm going to try B5. Let's try it. Nope. 2600 rating. Pass rate 42% at that level. Get it? I took almost 20 minutes on that. I mean, this is a really hard one. So there is a thing about attacking the castle of king, but there is some type of... You're going for the bait in 3. There's a queen sacrifice, though. Oh, that's right. Maybe I failed to look for that. So there's a queen sacrifice. The mate in 3. What else could it be? Would it be the rook? Would we start with the rook check? Just direct? Or is it bishop in, and then somehow once we open up the line, do we sack our queen? Well, let's just look at the most obvious move. Let's see what the response will be to this. No, it's not that. What about, okay, what else with it? Does the rook down work? Let's just try the obvious moves. That's the start. Okay. Now there's a queen sacrifice. What would the queen sacrifice possibly be? I was looking at a bishop sacrifice, but I mean, you can check here. You can check here. Takes, queen check, king up, check, takes, check. That's not a queen sack though, I don't think. Check. He gets out here. There's something there, but with it following through, check, takes, check, up. Yeah, anyway, I know I still have some work to do if I'm not solving these ones quickly or at all. I have some work to do. I was feeling good about it the other day, but you can't just stop when you feel good. You have to be like, all right, now it was a good day's work. We'll come back at it. You got to make sure you're super sharp on tactics before a tournament, as well as other things too, but that's like the most immediate thing. You got to be calculating efficiently and well. So clearly tonight I'm not doing that, but what is it? You got to be honest about that. Queen sacrifice. I don't know, but what would be the obvious? Okay, there was the bishop check immediately, takes. What's the follow-up though? He's just sitting right there. How do we? Oh wait, well, there was the queen d7, right? The queen d7 idea, but then he has g4. I kind of ruled that out because of g4, and that bishop is just, you can't really get in. Is the g5 idea almost working? The g5 would allow, no, then there's queen check. Not b5 now, no, it can't be b5 now. Okay, I'm gonna try one more time, then we'll just have to look it up if I can't get it. May have to just throw in the towel on this one. This is a tough one. Check, takes, check. What would there be? Queen down, of course. Is that where the sacrifice is? No, queen down, you just take. At least check. Can we run? No, then he comes back. That can't work. You can't give him f7. Let's look at this again. Rook check, takes. Queen check, up. Bishop check, takes. Check. Here. No, there's nothing there. What is this? What am I missing here? I'm just not seeing things right now. Because he's just sitting there. He's on the light squares to be attacked, but how do you get to him? We haven't sacrificed anything yet. But again, anything too slow allows the queen check, and that kind of kills the attack. So it's got to be something decisive. Is it? I don't know. Is it b5 now? I wanted to make that work. Who knows? But I just don't know where the queen sack would come from. To what end? Huh. b5 again. He has rook here. Then we'd have g5 here. No, there's nothing there though. There's nothing there. Gotta work on those patterns. What is the pattern here? No, something with this idea in there. Bishop check, takes. I don't know. What am I missing? Does anyone else see it? I don't know. Let me know if you see it, whoever's watching this. What is this? Is it? I mean, I see like a double attack, but again, there's queen takes check, king in the corner just checks again, and check, check, check. So if you want to make progress, you'd have to go here, check again. No, it can't be anything there. g5 check, that's a mate. I don't know. Check here, check, that can't work. That's a mate. Yeah, the rook would just swing over immediately. Should I just try my favorite move, b5? Yeah, it's frustrating. What am I missing here? Because in a way, tactics are sort of calibrating. I was talking about the other day on the tactics. It's like you have your efficacy and your confidence. It's both, right? But it's calibrating your efficacy and boosting your confidence. And when the efficacy is not there, your confidence goes down. So right now I'm like, what am I doing? But then once I can enhance my efficacy, my confidence would go up in tandem with it, ideally. But clearly the efficacy is lacking if I'm not finding out how to catch the king here. Or is it? No, the theme was, we got some hints already after we got it wrong. The theme is a mate in 3. Okay, I'm just going to go for that. No. Okay, we're gonna have to look at it. What is it? Show solution. Gonna have to give in. Check. It's something simple, isn't it? It is that. Oh, of course. It's a basic. It's a basic theme. See, yeah. I don't know. I haven't seen that one for a long time. That's why it's important to refresh those. So let's go back. So it was a check. Then it was another check, and it can't come up. Then it was a check again. So it was just to get to that basic theme that was I saw it from the beginning, but in the most forceful way. So you have to just go down that line, right? Of the check, and again, the key is that you already have the bar here on the E file. Get the check again, but it was a complicated way of setting it up. But it was all straight. It was all in a way it was straightforward though, because it was seven moves, 6 moves, but all forced. All right. Well, okay. Actually, okay. Record's not terrible. We got 4 in a row. Lost 1, got 1. Lost 2, got 2, lost 1. But yeah, recently not been doing as well. So now we're back down to something. I don't know, back down to closer to 25-50. So still got work to do. Maybe 25-50 something, I think. But I still have to get back up to where I was, and then go. That's the tough thing. Yeah, it's a little frustrating, but at least but as you're doing it, you know you're getting stronger, and you're seeing what you're missing. So got to get my laundry, but I think I may come back to it a bit, but hopefully that was helpful at least to try to work. It took me a while, but hopefully to at least work through it, the method. But yeah, it turned out, of course, it's not. If it was something with those pawns, it'd probably be even more difficult of a puzzle. I think the straightforward solution is usually first. So with that, good luck with your tactics, and hopefully I get them more next time. But you have your ups and your downs, but got to keep at it. All right.